A visit to the National History Museum in London brought me face to face with my ancestors. As I stared into the skull of the caveman, a realization doomed over me. How is he different from me? Are we any different at all? Maybe I'm not who you think I am. Maybe I'm not a trendy, swaggy teenager. Maybe I'm still a caveman. Hopefully not the Flintstones type. A lot has changed for humans since the Stone Age. Agriculture has changed the way we eat. The Industrial Revolution has changed the way we live. The IT revolution has changed the way we think. And the social media revolution has changed the way we communicate with others. We might be living in the 21st century, but in reality, you, me, and everyone around us are still primitives walking around in shirts and ties. So you think you have a little in common with your prehistoric ancestors. To tell you the truth, we're living with a Stone Age body in a Space Age world. I often wondered why I had pruny fingers after a long bath, and my mother always told me that it's because I don't drink enough water. Well, sorry mom, I just found out that's not the reason why. Pruny fingers upon contact with water is part of my ancestry. Whenever our caveman ancestors had to move through wet, rainy conditions, the pruny fingers gave them the grip that helped them to do so. Or when they had to collect shellfish from water. In my case, these pruny fingers just helped me with a slippery bar of soap. Let me give you another example. Since I was little, I've been able to twitch my ears. It's an exceptionally rare skill that looks great on my CV and LinkedIn profile. It seems I have to thank my greatest ancestor for that too. Our hunter-gatherer ancestors could calmly twitch their ears to listen of far-off prey or predators. One more example is, have you ever wondered why we get goosebumps when we're feeling cold or nervous? It seems we have to thank our hairy heritage for this too. Animals can easily raise their thick hair up when they're feeling threatened by a predator or when they want to trap air in their coat when they're feeling cold. Let's talk about something I love. Food. I've always loved to eat, and I'm sure many of you do too. The caveman diet or the paleo diet favors meat, fish, raw veggies over carbs and sugar. If I'm indeed a caveman, where do I get my sugar and junk food craving from? In the words of Harvard biologist Jason Lieberman, like it or not, we evolved to crave starch, sugar, fat over time. Whenever our ancestors found a sweet, tasty, high-energy food source, their brains would release chemicals to make them come back for more. If given those candy bars to cave kids, they would have wanted it just as much as modern children do. So parents, please don't blame us when we crave pizza and chocolates. Another study by Lieberman concluded that we not only evolved to be physically active, but we also evolved to be lazy. Yes, that's a Harvard biologist saying that. Stairs versus escalators is a choice we often have to make. One study in the United States produced that only 3% of the population would pick stairs over escalators. If I'm indeed a caveman, where's all my energy gone? How could I possibly be lazy? Hunting and gathering lifestyles were energy intensive and they required a lot of time and effort. So how could our ancestors possibly be lazy? Well, what's considered laziness now was considered smartness back then. Short breaks of inactivity offered cavemen to save the high-earned energy for their more aggressive tasks. Looking at some of the more social traits passed down to us is that cavemen passed on their homes to their descendants. Just like my great-great-great-grandfather has passed on his Haveli in Delhi to us. Archaeologist Sildre Freythem has concluded that some caves have been inhabited for as long as 1,000 years, passed down generation to generation. Some more social traits mainly pertain to men speaking lesser than women. Now I know that's an irony here because I'm giving a 10-minute talk, but in reality, men had to speak less than women. Short to the point, necessary information was a need back then. Attack, let's go over there, it's getting dark, let's hurry. Just short to the point, necessary information. If they said much more, they would be the dinner, rather than bringing their dinner home. On the other hand, women had to speak more. As they were the builder of communities, the strong conversation skills allowed them to learn the stories, rituals, and traditions passed down to them by their ancestors. Now, let's analyze something else. Cavemen and humans are both territorially aggressive beings. The different tribes competed for different resources such as power and trees and bricks and water. This trait can also be observed in the closest of our cousins, the chimpanzees. The chimpanzees also have an us versus them mentality. Looking at social acceptance. Social acceptance was just as prominent back then as it is today. The other day, I noticed my female friend adjusting her hair in front of a mirror. This desire for her to be groomed is gifted to her by her ancestors, the apes. Apes didn't groom to look pretty, they did it for social acceptance. Even the different tribes knew that those who were in the clan were safe, secure, and protected, while those left alone faced danger all alone. Now, you see that territorially aggressive behavior means that aggression is locked into our DNA and we can do nothing about it. Thankfully, that's not the case. Along with aggression, we also inherited compassion. Studies show that the cavemen cared for their pets and even looked after the sick and the injured. Aggression and compassion. It seems our ancestry is both a boon and a curse, but more importantly, we've been gifted the ability to adapt. According to Charles Darwin, it is not the strongest nor the most intelligent who survives. It is the one who's most adaptable to change. We humans have become the most dominant species on Earth because we have adapted to change. We even survived a climate change when it changed drastically 11,000 years ago. I can only hope that this time around we reverse climate change rather than simply getting used to it. Friends, we may be better dressed, better looking, better smelling, better informed, but deep down in our brains, a lot of old programs are still running. We have been on this earth for over 200,000 years, but in reality, we are still cavemen. So it's time to embrace our inner caveman. Thank you and have a great day.